What's up, YouTube? It's Zandar the Legend, and I'm back, as promised, after our Friday Night Magic update of Eldrazi Aggro, which really, it's Eldrazi Tempo, I think. I don't know. We might change the name of it, but we are going to make it a little more aggressive today based on our results. We did go 3-1 with only 2 losses at F&M, and the 2 losses were obviously during one round, and that was to Rally, and it was a version of 3-colored Death Touch Rally. Both times I got my opponent down to 1 and then 3 respectively. So the games were almost there. A couple draws. Well, really, we could have top decked almost anything in one. We just didn't see it. So let's go over what we're going to change with this deck for Friday Night Magic this week. Cards. The very first card of the set was the Eldrazi Mimic. This guy seemed like a great idea, but he had no function. He was actually pretty horrible. So we're taking 2 of those out. I'm just going to go ahead and do that while we're talking. The reason we're taking these out, they pretty much cleared them off the board as quick as they could, especially only having 1 toughness. They're really easy to get rid of. And there was just, there was never really any benefit to having them. They never did anything during any of the games. I know they have potential late game, but the chances of it being on the board late game just isn't going to happen. It's a really unfavorable trade. So he's coming out, and we're going in with 2 more Eldrazi Displacers. This card appears to be busted. I feel like it's busted. Any game I had this on the board, I won. The only games I lost, I did not draw into it. And I can honestly say, if we would have had him, if I would have top decked him, we would have won our rally game and went 4-0 flawless victory at Friday Night Magic. So we're definitely putting in 2 more of the Displacers. Being able to pay 3 mana anytime and flicker something, whether it's attacking. More importantly, flicker their blockers so we can swing in for lethal. Eldrazi Obligator, I wasn't too sure about him at first. We were running a 4 of. Very solid. Definitely staying in. And in fact, we never really used him as an aggressive 3-1. We used him as a 5 mana, take whatever they had and hit them with it, which won us several games. Being able to take one of their creatures, give it haste. I even had a late game victory where it looked like I was going to lose potentially against Esper Dragons, but he Slumguard and took my Reality Smasher, I believe. It was either that or my Sower, I can't remember. And the very next turn, I was 1 turn away from dying. There was nothing I was going to be able to do. And I Obligated out, took his Slumgar, got back my Sower, Smasher, whatever it was, and then swung in for lethal. So, yeah, insanely good card. Definitely going to keep running a 4 of. I don't know how he's staying as cheap as he is. I'm going to try to get my other 3 foils of him pretty quick because if you play Eldrazi, I feel like he's a really solid card. Matter Reshaper is definitely staying in as a 4 of. Huge card advantage. If somehow they did manage to have removal for it, 3 of 4 times he brought something back out to the board, which I thought was pretty crazy because I don't know. If you look at our mana curve, half of it's higher, half of it's lower, so you got a 50-50 shot. The nice thing is, it can also bring the Ghost Fireblade to the table, which it did do once or twice. And it's going to bring a removal spell into our hand, or a counter spell into our hand, or get us some more mana on the table too. So everything about this card's awesome. It's got great mana fixing. I love this card. We're definitely going to see this. It's definitely going to keep seeing play. It's ridiculous. Thought-Knot Seer, insanely good. He does what he does. I mean, it was really, really rare they ever got a better card when they had to draw a card afterwards. Sometimes it was fun because I would literally Thought-Knot Seer. They would get, they'd find a way to remove them and get a card in their hand. I'd Thought-Knot Seer the next turn again and take the card they just got. Reality Smasher, insanely stupid. 5/5, trample haste for 5. Almost always got him out on turn 5. Sowers, it's just, like I said, it's mind manipulation. A 5/8, it's hard to get rid of. It's got a big butt. Some of the times it came out, it actually came out with 1 or 2 taps of Ruins of Oran Reef. So it's actually like a 7/10 or a 6/9. So very, very hard to deal with, and 69 is awesome. Ghost Fireblade, insanely good in this deck. We had 2 wins where we literally turn 1 Ghost Fireblade, turn 2 Ghost Fireblade, turn 3 Obligator, and we swung in for 7, and then turn 4, I think they removed an Obligator, and I Obligator again. Ghost Fireblades, both to it also, and swung in again for flawless victory that time. Negate. Negate's actually a pretty good card. It helped us a lot against 4-color Rally, but this is one of our cards we are switching out. Negate's good. It's really good. And in fact, it is going to be going into our sideboard. So we'll be going over the sideboard changes here in just 1 second. And 2 mana is great for a non-creature spell. Unfortunately, you know, like I said in the last video, there's just so many instants in this format. There's not too many counter spells you got to worry about. Honestly, if I would have had a negate in hand, you know, 1 negate in hand is worth more than 2 negates in the bush, as they say. But we could have won the rally game that way as well. What we're going to trade out here for isn't going to give us a better chance to draw it, but it is going to just give us a better chance to play it. And that's going with, got him re-sleeved while we're sitting here talking, 4 Dispels. Basically the same thing, except for it's just 1 blue. We can counter a target instant spell. There's just really not enough sorceries in this format to worry about. Spatial Contortion, insanely great. I hope I can get 3 more foils of this before it goes up to like $6 or $10 a foil. We almost always used it as removal, but we did get to swing in 1 time with it on a, it was a 7-10 sower that I made a 13-7. So really cool when you can use it that way. Runes of the Orn Reef. This is our tapped land. It's the only land we have that comes into play tapped. And it gets us a +1/+1 counter if we tap it on an Eldrazi creature entered this turn. Unfortunately for what we're doing in this deck, this card's good. It's really good. And I might regret this change, and it might be something we'll change back out later. But for right now, we're going to take out 2 of these because I never really got to take more advantage in 2 of them, and we are kind of going for an aggressive theme. So I just feel like right now that's not what we want to do, especially after making a little bit of a mana change that we just did. So for our change with that, we're going to be taking out the 2 Runes of Orn Reef, mainly because they come into play tapped, and we do not want to be slowed down. And we're going to bring in 2 more Caves of Kilios down here, and we'll do the math behind that in just 1 second. Definitely running the 4 Corrupted Crossroads. Insane. Gives us any mana we need at any time. Great card, especially since we're running white, red, and white, red, and blue. So white, red, blue, colorless Eldrazi. 4-color Eldrazi. I didn't see anybody playing this during Star City Games, and I really feel like it can compete. We beat Esper Dragons, Atarka Red, 4-color Rally, 3-color Death Touch Rally. We almost beat, and I think we would have if we had a better sideboard. And insanely good deck. The other deck I played against for the 4th win or the 3rd win was it was just like a ramp deck. It was kind of different, but Seagate Wreckage, very solid. Definitely going to leave it in as a 2 of. Several times we got to tap it with the extra mana and draw a card. We are going to be empty-handed a lot, so very, very solid card for us. 4 Caves of Kilios, 4 Yavimaya Coasts, 4 Battlefield Forges, and 4 Shivan Reefs. All right, the reason we're doing this kind of mana makeup here is we want to be able to play everything we've got. So, you know, we need to be able to play an Obligator or a Displacer on possibly turn 3 every single time. And no matter what, by turn 5, we have to have red. Otherwise, we're in a risky situation. And really, by turn 2 or 1, you want to be able to run blue. What this is going to allow us to do with our land makeup, now we have 12 chances to pull blue, 12 chances to pull red, and 12 chances to pull white. So that's going to give us more than half of our land base, or I guess it's exactly half of our land base, unless we lower something else down, which we might do. And honestly, if we did take out any more land, it would be 2 Runes of Orn Reef, and we'll talk about that later. But I feel like we were fine with land. I know it's a little high for what we're doing, but I never found it to be an issue. But we always have a 50-50 chance with any land we get to get the color we're going to need. So very solid. I never had mana issues, not one time. So knock on wood, whatever. I think that's a great solid fix. Like I said, the key players of this deck is every Eldrazi, and that's what's ridiculous. Every card here is a threat, and that's what's something you can't really say about too many other decks. You know, if you're playing Rally or whatever, if you got Jace out there, you got this, and we have removal for those things as well, but everything up here is doing something bad. You know, the only thing up here I would say is not a threat is the Obligator. But if we're playing him on turn 5 instead of turn 3, he's a huge threat because we're taking a Siege Rhino, a Thought-Knot Seer, whatever we want. And just, man, we're swinging in for a lot that turn, especially considering we can probably put some Ghostfire Blades as well. on like turn 6 or 7 if we get them late game. The Displacer, I mean, they just have to kill it. If they don't, it's too much advantage. That's a huge target that has to die. It's got a 3 butt, so Fiery Impulse isn't killing it, a Wild Slash isn't killing it, Kolaghan's Command isn't killing it. Very, very, very solid card. And that's why you saw so many people playing Sylvan Advocate, you know, the 2/3 green drop, because that 3 butt just makes something really good. And honestly, that's where I want to be our weakest point, is with the Reshaper, except for the fact the Reshaper gets another card on the field when it dies, which is just tons of value. That's it for the main deck. Let's go into the sideboard like we did last time. The first sideboard card we had is going to be the Warping Wells. And we're actually going to take the Warping Wells out of the sideboard completely now. I love the card. It's going to be insanely good in Modern. For Standard, I'm not feeling it. Yeah, I can get a Jace off the table and a couple other things. But there was never really a time... There was never an opportunity out of all my games. You know, we played 12 games. Well, really, we played less than that. But there was never a time I thought we should bring this card in for any reason whatsoever. And if you can prove me wrong or just tell me some reason otherwise, I'd be glad to put it back in for something else. But I just feel like right now that's definitely coming out and not going back in. We're going to be putting in the 4 negates into the sideboard. We really, really want to be able to compete with any type of control deck, or somebody that's trying to stop us from doing something, or trying to remove our creatures from the board. So if they're running really heavy removal, we know we need to bring these in for something else, possibly the Contortions, or even we can kind of slow down and take out the Ghostfire Blades, I guess, if we, you know, it just depends what we're seeing. But the negates are definitely one thing we're changing. One thing we are not changing is the 4 Kozilek returns. Yes, I still need one more. Been working on it. Very solid. This helps us versus Rally, versus tokens, versus about anything. And, you know, we're not running anything with 7 or greater, so we don't ever have to worry about doing the 5 damage. And even if you do, you have the choice to do that 5 damage, which I didn't realize before. So Kozilek's return is still really good. Hopefully I can pick up my last one of those. The next cards we're switching out. And just because we never got the opportunity to use them, I don't think they're that good, and we're trying to go for more of an aggro build, is the 2 Endbringers and the 2 Dreadfilers, which kind of sucks because I got a promo for the Endbringer, and I was going to be able to use them, but honestly, the promo artwork isn't nearly as cool as this artwork. Being able to flick damage is cool. Being 7 mana, it's so late game, I just don't feel like it's a good enough advantage for what we need to do. So we're going to be taking out all 4 of those, 2 of each. And we're going to be bringing in, give me 1 second here, the most unprofessional way to ever do a YouTube video. But it feels like you're right here with me and we're constructing together. And you know what? We're a legendary team and we're going to go 4-0 this week. As long as you're following me on Twitter so you know what's happening. I feel like the biggest threat right now, and what we're going to see a ton of, especially after the Star City Game Open series, everybody's going to be building it this week, and some version of it is 4-color Rally, and that's why we need 4-color Hollowed Moonlight. We'd have 12 ways to get white, so we should be able to get it at least by turn 3 or turn 4. Yeah, this is great for Collected Company, this is great for Rally, and it gives us card advantage. We're just stupid not to run 4 of these right now, since we're playing the aggressive build. Yeah, any way they can cheat something in the play will be completely gone now. So very solid as I hit my camera like a newbie. Our last switch out today is going to be Kozilek and 2 Ulamogs. They're so great, but there's just no great way to get there. I had several games where the Sowers hit 2 or 3 lands and really good things, but unfortunately, there's no way, and I literally mean it, there's no way I could actually got to play these. Yeah, you got to run some type of ramp. And if somebody's going to be running ramp against us, we're just going to destroy them. And if they do get one of those out, and even if they Kozilek or if they do whatever, we're totally going to steal their Kozilek with an Obligator. You know, always keep an Obligator in hand for late game because whatever they play, I mean, obviously, even Esper Dragons, it's worth it. If they tap out and hit you with Ojutai, you know, you can still Ojutai and hit them with Ojutai the very next round, which is ridiculous. So we need something a little more aggressive, a little more creature removal. So if you haven't guessed it yet, we're going to be running 3 Bear of Silence for our sideboard card. This is 2 mana. Unfortunately, we only have 8 ways to get black, but I feel like we're going to be running this late game. And when I say late game, I mean turn 4 or later due to its a kicker cost, which I'm not sure why they didn't use kickers. He's a 2 mana, 2/1, flying, but he cannot block. If you cast Bear of Silence, you can pay 1 and a colorless. If you do, target opponent sacrifices a creature. This is going to give us some evasion, and it's going to let us put a Ghostfire Blade or 2 on here, make him a 6/5, swinging through the air, and it's going to make him sacrifice a creature. I feel like this is just a really solid sideboard card if they're creature heavy. We did not need this or evasion at all, I feel like, to win the game. Any of the games we played. So he's definitely our sideboard. So that's our new sideboard. The only thing I feel like we're really weak to right now is Infinite Obliteration, which people are running, especially because of Rally. It really hurts us because they can target Displacer, Obligator, anything. All of our creatures we're running a 4 of. So yeah, we are a huge impact for that. And that's why we definitely need the Dispels and the Negates. And I should probably make sure Infinite Obliteration isn't a sorcery. I believe it's an instant, but yeah, I feel like that's where we're at right now. Let me know what you guys think. That's what I'm most curious about. What would you change about this deck? How would you run it differently? And let me know why in the comments down below, because that really interests me. I love this deck. It's the deck I've had the most fun playing, probably since green-red Atarga ramp. I mean, I don't know. Insane deck. I love it. You get to use all the new cool Eldrazi's. The best thing about this deck, we only lose 1 card to rotation, and it's the Ghostfire Blade. Whenever that happens, I don't feel like it's going to hurt us enough to not be able to run this deck anymore. It's not a critical glue piece to this deck, and we can just mainboard probably either more Negates then, or maybe 4 Bear of Silences, or something else, maybe another evasion creature. Let me know what you think, because when the time comes, it's going to have to rotate, but that time's a long time away. Thanks for watching, guys. Hit subscribe or like on my video below. Definitely leave me a comment. I'm really good about getting back, and yeah, we're going to have a vlog this Thursday, and we're just going to try to get some things going on here, so thanks for all the new subscribers, too. I'm noticing it.